Okay, so we are on week 4 of our Director Bound, time management and systems. And so why don't we, for those of you that are doing the program right now, what are some of your takeaways, even from last week? So last week was, about informing, inviting, and the sharing the love process. Anybody have even just, yeah, share some, just even practicing. Maybe you haven't added someone, but you're maybe practicing, and how's that going? Asking people, informing. Oh, you guys are all shy. Come on.
Hey, Jess just joined. Jess, we're just asking what our takeaways are from last week and how are we continuing to ask. And I think you might have a little something to say.
Are you talking to Jess Jervik?
I am talking to Jess Jervik. Putting her on the spot right when she got on the call.
Oh my. I built in the ask the host 5 times into my host coaching document, and just planting the seed with everybody, I guess, and just using Jessica McKnight Butler's words of no pressure, you have to do what's right for you. So just, I don't know, I got a new team member this morning. I don't know how that happened. It wasn't a host. Did you see that?
It was last night. Well, I don't know. When I got up off, I woke up at 2 and went to go to the bathroom, and I'm weird. Yeah. Actually, I had my phone.
I don't even remember her as a guest in my party. So, but I planted the seed somewhere, so you just never know where they're going to come from, I guess.
Awesome.
Anyone else? Sorry, I'm not sure where our guest speaker is, so I'm trying to find her, but.
It's 5 o'clock her time.
Yes, it is. It's 5 o'clock in Washington, so.
We should have a margarita then.
I know, right? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm sorry, that's funny.
Morning margaritas all around. Woohoo!
Yes, please.
Anybody that, I don't know, something specific that, since we're talking about system time management today, what is working for you? So some of you guys are stay-home people. Some of you guys are full-time workers. How do you guys manage your business? How do you manage your time?
Well, I'll speak up with that one. I do work a full-time job. I manage a hotel, so I'm always working. I'm there at least 12, 13 hours a day. So I manage my time in between. So when I take a break, I message somebody. If I'm at lunch, I will scroll through my Facebook and my parties and respond to all the games and make sure that I'm touching base with all of the guests. And so I don't spend like a block of time. It's like 5 minutes here, 3 minutes there. So by the end of the day, I've accomplished both jobs or both tasks. And then at night, I have time for my family because I've already done both jobs during the day. So, that's how I do it. And I think one of my recruits does the same thing because she works for me at the hotel. So she not only is part of my team, but she also works for me at the hotel. So that's really good. So that's how I manage my time.
I love that. I know when I used to work full-time as well, which I did majority of the time with Pampered Chef, using my lunch hour was a big deal for me. I made sure I took my lunch hour first of all, right? So take back your lunch hour if you haven't, and really use that time. And so I would maybe the night before write down a list of, okay, what do I have to accomplish? And I do that even now more than I used to, of just writing down my list of, okay, this is what I got to accomplish for the day. So when I have those 3-minute pockets or 15-minute pockets, I go, oh, what's next on my list? Okay, do this. And then, of course, schedule your time too. Usually I know when Brett gets home from work, that next hour, maybe it's the first half hour we play with Anders, but then the next half hour after that, he takes Anders and I work.
Crystal's not on, but I remember when she had this big aha after doing one of these classes, and she has trouble sleeping anyway, but she really started to do what they call a brain dump. And I think that's kind of what Carrie is alluding to, is just you have somewhere that you jot down all those things that you want to accomplish. And, you know, and it might not be fancy, right? But at least it's on there. And sometimes what I'll do is when those things pop into my head that I think, no, you can't do that now, you have these other priorities, they just go to the bottom of the list. I'll just throw them like way on the bottom of the list. And then, you know, I'll get to them someday. And those might get transferred from list to list to list. I have some that get transferred a lot. But at least I can stop thinking about them. Sometimes I think we think about working so much that we feel like we're working all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing, Janelle. I do the same thing. I have like a list that I even have in my purse, because I feel like if I don't do that, I'm jumping around all the time. Like I'll think of it and then I'll think, oh, I got to do it right now. And then I don't get tasks accomplished, and you feel like you never get anything done. So you have to have some sense of accomplishment at some point.
When you have a plan, you stay focused, right? So, oh, excuse him. Sorry. Anyways, and then of course, training your brain to say I'm doing exactly what I should be at this exact moment, even if it's those little things. Okay, so I'm just gonna do something a little different here. So I'm guessing she maybe has the time zones off today. So we'll see here. But the systems are the foundation of your business, right? I think sometimes, yeah, it's hard to know again, yeah, what's the big priority versus the small priority? What do you focus of? And just thinking of a funnel, right? Without the shows, that's kind of where we start. We don't have the sales, we don't have the leads, we don't have the new consultants, and we don't have the future bookings. So that's, you know, again, where you have to start. If your show is not, if your calendar, if you're weak for the calendar, you know, Janelle talked about that earlier, do your calendar weekly, which I really appreciated. That has just blown my mind. I don't know, this last month. But to look at 1 week at a time and say, okay, this next week is my calendar full. Nope, I need to fill it. You know, you have to have the shows first. So that's the kind of the first thing. And then of course, yeah, who's your lead list? Who are you adding to your team? Who's interested in the business? And then of course, your very new people. So your very new people, they don't, you know, they need help, right? So they're just learning the ropes. So if you were to start any new job, you would want help. And so that's our focus too, is to help them get off to a great start. And then of course you're going to have people on your team. We all have different sections. We've got our producers, those that just go get it, right? Those are you guys essentially. And then you have those that are just here, just kind of stay. And then we have those that maybe, sorry, you know, are just in it, that are going to be heading out the door. So we have all different kinds of people, but your producers is where your focus is. All right, 1 second here.
I'm going to share one thing while she walked away. Carrie, can I talk about the P chart? I don't know if we've ever talked about that with this group. And what I think would be really a great practice is for them to start that as soon as they have people on their team. And some of you have people on your team. So it's a very simple thing. You go out to your Consultant Connection, and in Consultant Connection, there's you have the oh, I'm so bad at doing these without looking. The Performance Tracker tab. In the Performance Tracker tab, you can look at month at a glance, or you can look at it year at a glance. And when you click year at a glance, it's going to show you, and then it's going to show all the people that are on your team. So as you build your team, you're going to have a list. what's really good to do is to go through there, and you can even start practicing this on yourself, is just to go through there and look at each month and where are you at. And Jamie Nelson, our amazing leader, gave us this little thing to do, and it basically just has like, so if they've had $0 to $150 or $149, so basically they weren't active, then you just highlight them in yellow. And then if they had 150 to $9.99, you color them in blue. And I can share this if you guys want this, but, and then when they have 1,000 to $19.99, they're orange, and so on. So there's a color for each different level. And this is a good way to kind of categorize those people a little bit. And also to notice when all of a sudden something changes. So you might have somebody who's running along as a pink every month with $2,000 or more, right? And then all of a sudden, they're yellow or they're blue. You know, they've dropped down. And it's really a good way to be able to reach out and just say, hey, what's happening? How are things going? Do you have some challenges? Let's talk about what's happening with your business, you know? And likewise, as you go through this, it gives you an awesome reason to touch base with them every month. Like I try to do this fairly early in the month, and then you have it right there and you'd be like, oh my gosh, rockin' awesome. You added 2 people to your team this month, because that's all on there. Or look at you go, you earned this level of free-for-all, or whatever. But you can shout a praise. You can ask if they're having any challenges. You can start to like ask like, what's your next month look like? Things like that. But it gives you just some talking points. So for those that have started to build your team, I would highly look at doing something like that at the beginning of each month. There you go, Carrie. Sorry, I was just trying to fill in the blanks.
No, you're fine. I think that's fantastic. So it's always good to know where you are at, I think too. Am I a top performer, or do I need to pick up my own game? We always talk about not living to minimums. So what's the next goal? Where are you going to hit? And with that too, even, I think many times we like to give excuses. When it comes to this business sometimes, you know, well, I can't do it because I work full time and I run this and I have children that I run around and I'm involved in this, which is true for so many consultants. You are not alone. And that's something that has really been hitting me, especially lately. There are some of our top performers in this entire company have like 4 or 5 children. They work full time. They run another business. And they're the top performer. Like, what the junk? How do they do it, right? And I think, honestly, they don't make excuses. And they use their resources really well, right? So what are things you can eliminate? I'm sure that they use other moms to help run their kids around. They probably use their spouse for those that have one. Not all of them. Some of them are single moms. But I'm sure they use other people, right? And then maybe they meal prep. I mean, they have systems in place. Every Sunday they meal prep, they get their groceries, they make their meals, and they have their meals for the week. So they're not making meals throughout the week. So what are things in your, not just in your Pampered Chef business life that you can simplify, but also just like within your life? One of my words for the year was present. The reason why I chose the word present, because I knew I was going to go through a lot of transition this year. With working full time to now being home. So I use the word present to be fully present in whatever I'm doing. So if I had scheduled 15 minutes to work on host coaching, I'm going to focus on that 15 minutes to host coach. If I had 15, 20, 30 minutes to play with Anders, I'm going to focus that time with playing with Anders. So whatever I chose to do during that time, to be fully present. It's amazing how much you can get done when you are fully focused and present. Or if you go, I only have a 15-minute block. Us women are amazing. We get crap done. We get after it, and we just like, oh my gosh, I have 15 minutes. Here I go. So create that time schedule. Be fully present. Be fully focused. What can you automate? Okay. What is there that you can automate? So it might be, if you have a business page, maybe you automate your post, right? During your parties, you automate your post. Put your bills on auto pay, right? There's lots of different things that we can automate that automatically just happen. On the first of every month, you have in your calendar, you do something. So every month you do that. And then, of course, making sure that your goal is so crystal clear that you can say no to the things that won't help you achieve your goal. What is it you truly want? Is it a certain paycheck amount? Is it the next title? Is it the trip? Maybe one of the things I did on my vision board, I put a picture of myself between Judy Joel and Jean for when I become executive director. Like, I literally cropped my head and put it over top of someone else's. So I have that visualization. So maybe if it's going to Disney, you take a picture of the castle and you put you and your family, cut your family out, put it in front of it, right? Whatever it is that you're achieving, make it so clear. Put a visualization of, I'm a visual person, so I needed to actually put a picture up. But make sure you know what you're going for. Sorry. So we can either make our lives, our crazy lives with our kids, our other relationships, friends, church, whatever, we have laundry, right, dishes, we can either make it work together in our lives, or we can have it be a conflict. I know some people bring their kids into their business with them, help them stamp catalogs, help them put host packets together. Use your resources, use your children. If you can, granted, mine would be absolutely no help. However, I do use him in live video sometimes because I feel like people tend to want to watch them a little quicker because of his cute face. So I use my resources there, just in a little different way. And then, are you being proactive or reactive? Do you have your host packets put together through the end of February for the rest of the season? How many shows do you want? How many host packets do you have put together? Okay. Sorry. Life of a child. You know, or are you putting together your packets as you go? Like, oh, I have another party coming up. Crap, I better get that out. I should have probably sent that 5 days ago already. Are you on the, you know, do you have, and sometimes it's easier if you have that host packet made already, you can be like, oh, gotta grab this, go. But then if you have like this idea and you're thinking, oh, I have to put that host packet together yet, oh, I'll do that later, like it, you just don't get it done on time. So are you being proactive or reactive? And if you have to change something up in your host packet, if you're doing different types of parties, that's way easier than putting a whole packet together. Or for some, you might have your, you know, online party packets and cooking party packets, and you have them, you know, you have your stacks. He says he agrees. You know, so, and are your hosts calling you, you know, asking you questions like, hey, when am I getting my party set up? Or are you being on top of it and letting know, hey, just want to let you know here, your party's coming up this next month. I'll be reaching out here in a week or two. Where are you at? So I think one of the things too, we're all busy, right? We all have that word busy in our lives, but think about trying to remove that word busy. Instead maybe trying to say, I am focused. I am productive. People sometimes are like, geez, you're so busy. I'm like, no, I love my life. I love being busy though. Hey, I know, honey, I'm sorry. And then we talked a little bit about brain dumping at night, but then does someone want to quickly just talk about, you guys have all, you directors know this, so I know you guys can talk about this, but color coordinating your calendar. Someone want to talk about that real quick for me? Oh, Dina's grabbing hers. I already know it because she definitely does this. Dina, you want to just talk about this for a second?
Yes, ma'am. So even at my work, I was actually pulling this out. I work just very, very, very part-time at the hospital, and they were looking for shifts. As you guys know, November and December are super busy for a hospital as well as our business. Our business is also super busy, but they count on me a little bit. So I pulled out my calendar, and I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm not seeing myself on the screen, and I do have my video on. But you can see that this is my calendar. And so the way that I mark it up is that there is blue is for business. So my blue markers are for business. So that would be my meetings, my calls, even like today is fast track to director. It's reminding me to get up and get going. So that's blue. Pink is personal. So anything personal, church activities, watching my grandkids, my brother's coming this weekend, things like that. Those are personal. What is orange, which isn't on here, and that's bad, but you should have orange for office if you have office hours. I do mostly work from home, so I do feel like I do need to be more proactive in putting in office hours, although I feel like I'm officing, I'm in my office. I know when I'm going to be in my office. It's anytime I'm not doing something else. And then pink, blue, green is then when I can have shows. So like if I have a box here, it means I could have a show that night. If it's filled in, then those are shows that I've already connected to and I have going on. Then I actually put a red box around the days that I could possibly work at the hospital or that they've assigned me to work at the hospital. So that's something new. Red, I thought red alert, hospitals kind of went together. So those are my colors. So pink, personal, blue, business, orange for office, green for shows, green because it makes money. And then also then any of your, if you do have a full-time or part-time job that you work outside of Pampered Chef, maybe you need to block those hours off as well. So that's my calendar. And when I whip this out for my supervisor, she goes, "Oh my goodness," she goes, "and you don't have children." I said, "Well, I have 3 and 7 grandchildren." But this is the one I used last year. I found it's a little too big for me because I don't carry it with me, and I do need to carry my calendar. You can also do it digitally on your phone. You can still do colors on your phone's calendars if you're the digital person. I'm a paper person because I take down notes and things. But yeah, that would be my calendar.
I love that. So that's all a lot about time management. I think what goes along with time management, again, we talked a little bit about this, but is having systems. Do you have a system for who to follow up with when it comes to booking parties or your leads? Okay, do you have a piece of paper maybe? Guys, this is currently my paper that came out of my notebook, but I write down the name, the date I reached out, if they said no to a party, if they said yes, if they said maybe, if they said follow up in January. Okay, piece of paper. You can do an Excel spreadsheet. Some people really like that too. Some people use their phones and put it, sometimes I do that as well. In addition to this, if I need a follow up, hey, follow up with this person about a party they want to do. Do you have a system? And same with leads too. Some might say after they retire. So I ask them, well, when are you retiring? Because for some it's December, some it's February, some it's 5 years from now, right? So do you have a system for tracking people? Do you have a system for your host coaching? So a lot of us use a document, right? And 5 days before the party, we're sending this, 4 days this. Do you know what you're sending on what days? Do you have a document put together? Do you have a spreadsheet maybe put together? Where are you at with that, So do you have a system for host coaching? Do you have a system for your parties? Do you know what you're saying on what days? Now, if you're using a scheduler, that's a great system. Some people are just winging it maybe a little bit. I think a lot of us have the scheduler part down pretty good. What about once you add your new consultants? What do you do with them? I got a new consultant, now what? I would say Janelle's the expert here on this as far as Dash has a great system for us with this. Now, I personally have not completely used this. Is it called the Fast Track Success System? Okay. I'm just going to pull this up here real quick. I'm going to share my screen. So if you're on Dash, honestly, the way I went to find it, probably you can either search here. You've got the search bar over here to put Fast Track Success System. You got to put all 4 of those words in. Or you can, of course, try not to. I don't recommend this necessarily, but you can go on the side here, and there it says Fast Track Success System. There's a lot of stuff there, so that's why I don't necessarily recommend it. It's easy, a little trickier to find maybe. But this literally walks you through the words to say, what to do with your new people. Okay. It's going to tell you, coach your new consultants to complete the first 10 to 15 tasks. They are served in Dash before, and that way they kind of do this. So, and it even says, like here, it says, say this. You can go ahead, click that, and it'll give you the words you can copy and paste. Of course, make it your own if you want, but for the most part, you don't have to do that. Okay, but this is what's going to help you. So it literally tells you what to talk about on this call. On this call, this is what you'll discuss. This is a great system for welcoming your new consultants.
And the one that you're in right now that you were showing them, that's really the overview. So then for each one of those calls, there's a separate one, and that gives you even more detail. Like that, there was just kind of checklist there, which I kind of, I like that. But yeah, each one of the calls gives you everything. And even like, what if they don't pick up? What if they just ignore you? What if they come back and they say, oh, I just wanted the products. It was a really good deal. I mean, when that happens to me, I'm just like, okay, I don't know what to say. They're just like admitting they're a kidnapper. How do I address that? But they've got great words that say something like, oh my gosh, if you're all about the products, I can help you earn even more great rewards through our fast track reward system. So you just stay upbeat and positive when your heart just sunk into your stomach, you're feeling like you want to punch him in the face. but it really gives you some good words, because at that point you're kind of like, no, man, that's not how it works. And I would say the wrong thing. So it's cool. You got to check it out. Like, when you get your first recruit, you take them through that step by step, and you will be successful.
Yeah, so we've got a great system there. So there's no reason to be scared to add people to your team. Plus, you have all of your directors here that are here to help you. So, I mean, we're not, and I always like to do the first call with your first recruit, or 2 maybe, depends, to help you through that. So you can have it pulled up the same time I'm going through it, and then the next time you try it while I'm listening. We are here to support you, but Pampered Chef definitely has a really great system there for you as well. So, just trying to think, any other systems? I think those are probably the biggest systems right off the bat as you work your way towards promoting. And then once you join us, because you're gonna join us in this leadership team, then of course Pampered Chef has even more. Then what? Oh my gosh, now I'm a leader. They have, once you're a leader, they've got a really great training again from home office that they come to you with. So they send you emails, they have you go through a program to really help you go, okay, now what? So it doesn't end. It never ends. It's not like, oh, you made it, good luck. That's not the case. No matter where you are in this business, they have tons of support along the way. As upper level directors, they have trainings for us as well. So it just never ends, which is great. Okay, so we're headed to the time of some Q&A or additional comments. But yeah. And yeah, just make sure, I think the biggest thing too, make sure that everything you do is in line with your goals, okay? Just everything you do is in line with your goal. Is this worth doing? Is this gonna get me to my goal, or does this need to go? Okay, ask away with questions. I'll mute myself so you don't have to hear Anders. or any ahas if you don't have a question. Maybe something you're like, oh my gosh, that was so good. Not that I'm that good, but whatever. Not trying to be boastful.
Kudos to you, Carrie, for just like sucking it up, not having your person show up and still making us a good call today.
Luckily, I trained on this a couple sessions ago, so I just pulled them. Good thing I have my notes, and I'm like, okay, what did I say last time? But I still changed it, made up some things, so.
Okay, I have a question. It might be somewhat unrelated, but I guess it's kind of related to time management. So when you're doing cooking shows, I've started to have a lot more people that are interested in doing cooking shows. Do you take the time to send them a grocery list? Do you plan that out? Do you give them the option to kind of choose what they want to have and then spend the time doing that? Because I usually have been doing like the same recipe, and then I had something that's like, oh, I don't like that. So then I had to spend some time looking for other stuff. So how do you manage?
Yeah, so there is a host coaching document out there specifically for cooking shows. I'm not 100% where it is actually on the website currently with the new changes, since I just haven't done one and I have it saved on my computer still from before it changed. So I'll find that for you. But that host coaching document, Dina, yes.
So if she goes into, when you create the show, there's going to be a link. It actually has host coaching right up there, and you click on the host coaching and it walks you through call 1, call 2, call 3, call 4. It's amazing. And you can just click, 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 and it is such a feeling of accomplishment. And then Bailey, as far as like recipe, girl, you do the recipe you do it for 6 months until you feel completely comfortable with it. It doesn't matter. Nobody really cares. Just keep on doing the same recipe. That's what I tell my new consultants. Do the same recipe all the time until you get it done. I know Sharon Zellen, I heard her once say that she's done the same 3 recipes for like a year, and she does I don't know how many shows, many shows. And so don't worry about the recipe. The grocery list too, there's even a place where it says send the grocery list. So you can just click that off and send it. And if you pick a recipe with Pampered Chef, they'll even have a place where you can send the grocery list. It's fabulous. So just go ahead and feel confident that it's okay to do the same thing all the time until you're comfortable.
Yeah, I don't let my host choose the recipe. I say, hey, we're doing this. How does this sound? Let me know what you think, and I'll send you the grocery list.
I would say the only time I change it up is if they have an allergy or a specific need, in the home. You wouldn't want to go make peanut butter where someone's child is allergic to peanuts, that sort of thing.
But I also think that you have to respect if there's something that you actually try to present and they don't like it, Bailey. I think what happens is you end up with I probably have maybe like 5 favorite recipes that I do at my shows. So maybe this host asking for something different might be an okay thing, maybe just ping a few people. What else I've been doing this one. What else is a good recipe? But again, you want to pick it though, because you want to make sure it has like power tools and you're going to be selling stuff for them. And sometimes I'll just say to them, because I will have them say, hey, can you make those little quiches in the little mini muffin pan that we don't sell anymore, right? And I'll say, I really prefer to kind of help you by picking the recipe so I can make sure you have a really good party, because I know that I can sell more if I pick the right recipe. So do you mind if I pick? And I'll say, here's a couple of ideas. Or I'll even just say, that is a really good recipe. We don't sell that pan anymore, so that's not going to benefit your show. And also it's very tedious and time consuming. It's not maybe the best show recipe. And then they understand, So hopefully that helps. And I do send them the recipe or the grocery list, and they do get the groceries, which I think is probably most common, but you get to choose how you want to do that.
Some consultants are control freaks, and they bring all the groceries. Dina, control freak. All right, any last thoughts before our time is up here? Got about 30 seconds. Oh. Well, thanks otherwise, everyone, for joining today. Hope you have some ahas and you're not finished. Still follow up with your directors, have your call with them, share your ahas, and keep working. So we're not finished with you yet. Let's still finish out the year strong. And then we'll have another one of these here in a couple weeks. We'll start again. All right. Adios.
Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah.